Live with Ninon. Yes, another week has gone by and we've had a fabulous week. Oh my goodness, there's so much went on, there's so much happening. And we actually, we did another show of Ninon Speaks, which is amazing. And I have a guest with me, Masey Miguel. And I don't be interviewed, so I don't know what anybody does. And she said she sells mats, so she does these Portuguese maps. Masey, how are you?
I'm doing quite well, thank you.
I just want to know how an American in Vegas is selling more Portuguese map.
Yes.
Well, what's the difference between Portuguese map and American map? Are they cheaper?
They're actually a little bit more expensive. They're very high quality. But Portuguese, Cork is the cork capital, and my yoga mats are made from cork.
Portuguese is where they have the trees,
Yep.
the olive trees.
Yep.
So you and I know the same story.
Yes, absolutely.
They chop the cork around the trees, they chop it down, all these artificial corkscrews.
Yes.
They were made through, and I remember driving through Portugal, and I said, why on earth all their trunks are like no trunks? They don't have the coating on them.
Absolutely. Yes, and cork is antibacterial, it's antimicrobial, which means it cleans itself, and that's why you have...
It cleans itself?
Yes, and that's why...
It's like it looks dirty, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's like an oak around, it's like, what do you call it, cork? There's cork around a tree, and you just really don't want to touch it.
Yeah, and that's why they have wine bottles with the cork. It's the most sustainable. And here with Man Life, we want to be sustainable. We want to have vegan, eco-friendly, beautiful mats that are actually helping the earth rather than destroying it. See the difference?
We're on a good thing for our first show, aren't we? We're helping the world, not destroying it, and I love that.
Absolutely.
I love all that
Yes.
stuff. But you're beautiful. I would have thought you would have been a model or an actress. I got that wrong, didn't I?
Thank you so much.
But you said, what got you into these mats?
Yes.
And how do you use them? And you sleep on them or
Sure.
what?
Well, I dance on them. I stretch on them. You'll find yourself, if you go on a mat, you'll just find these ancient...
The energy?
Yeah, ancient energy really starting to...
Instant energy?
Oh, yes.
Okay, give me a dozen and I'll pile them up and I'll get all my energy back.
Yes, oh yes, absolutely,
I'll
yes.
stand on a dozen of them and I'll be exumed with energy. Woo.
No, I've actually been able to incorporate singing and dancing on these mats, being able to truly feel the power, the wisdom that these trees provide.
Wisdom, we get wisdom out of it too. I would definitely want 100 of them now.
Well, think about it.
Let me ask you a question though. I asked you whether you sleep on them. Could you put those underneath your sheet and sleep on them and it gives you energy while you sleep?
Absolutely.
You wake up completely energized.
Well, the passion and the love that has been made and put into them, you can definitely feel that. You can feel all the love that I've poured. It took 5 years. 5 years to make this entire business come into fruition. And here it is now in tangible, living form.
Portugal is right next to Spain, isn't it? It's
Yes.
the same kind of area. Because there's a company in Spain that sells, it's a little gadget and you can test your heart.
Yes.
Or your heartbeat on it, and it was made there too. So a lot of intelligent people in Portugal and around that area. Are you from there? Or?
Yes, my
God, I
family.
said that.
I wanted to incorporate my family heritage. We are from Portugal. And here, I was with some family, and they were giving me some information on our family heritage and the island that we're from. We're from Soa Miguel Island.
Soa Miguel. It's lovely the way it's pronounced.
Yes,
Soa
Miguel Island, and my name is Masey Anna Miguel, and my company is called Man Life. Masey Anna Miguel. My life and healing passed down to you.
And you're passing it down.
Yes.
From now, how many years do we go back with your family? Probably quite a few.
Wow, we can go back at least 100 years.
That's what you call. That's typical Europe, though, isn't it? I mean, that's what Europe is kind of like.
Absolutely, absolutely. My uncle, he moved back to the island, built an entire house from the ground up, and he's living there now. So I'll be.
He built it himself?
Oh yeah.
And that's your uncle?
My uncle, yeah, he's a handyman. My entire family on my father's side, entrepreneurs, own their own business. So
you're doing the same thing.
Absolutely.
You're going into the same thing. How long have you had this business?
So it launched on my birthday, September 9th. September 9th, 2021. So it's been
it's very new.
Very new.
How wonderful.
Yes.
And how is it going? And I know how you can promote it because we've got so much social media and things out there. But I found out on social media, there's lots of stuff out there, but get the right one. So where are you into?
Yes. So with Man Life, our retailer, we're in the sporting goods department.
Okay.
So we're trying to be around that, but the health conscious, the yogis.
You can put it into dance studios, everything.
Yes, and in fact, we are in 2 stores already. We are in a holistic spiritual midwifery facility where
in Vegas?
Yes, here in Vegas,
Okay.
where they sell crystals, they have yoga sessions, they have therapy.
They have those crystals that sort of go back and forth, and then you hold a crystal, and there's all sorts of things.
Oh yes,
I know a little bit about that. My mother was kind of a little bit into all that.
Absolutely.
Swinging, and I was asking somebody the other day, and I said, you have these things on a string.
Yes.
And it's going back and forth, and he said, well, just ask it a question. And lo and behold, the thing goes...
That's a pendulum.
The pendulum
yeah,
thing.
A pendulum. So
well, you can have those at Crystal as well.
Yes, they have that. And that's over at Well-Rounded Mama. Okay. That's the first retailer.
Mama.
Yes, that's the first retailer. The second retailer is Her V-Steam. And that is Vaginal Steaming.
What was that again? Did I hear you?
Yes, it's yoni steaming. That's what they call it, and the Sanskrit word for vagina is a yoni. So it's yoni steaming.
New word, yoni out there, guys.
We love yonis.
Oh dear, we're getting a little bit deep here, aren't we?
Yes. So those are the 2 retailers that we're at, and next week I'm actually going to San Diego. We're going to retail the yoga mats in a yoga mat store. My apologies. We're going to retail them at a yoga studio.
At a yoga studio. I was
in
going to
San
say
Diego.
That would be fabulous.
Yes, absolutely.
If you could get into. I don't know if there's a company out there, but there's a lot of yoga studios all over America. Get your little self in there and off you go. How old are you?
I'm 26 years old.
No, she's very young. It's wonderful. So how do you like running, as a young lady, your own business and doing your own? Because obviously it's new. And what did you do before? Probably yoga.
I've had almost every job on the market, food and beverage. I've been a house cleaner. I've been a nanny.
Can you imagine her cleaning a house? I can't imagine that.
I'm a great house cleaner, just letting you know.
Oh, okay. I've got an assignment for you.
I think it's
for a great house that needs cleaning.
You know what? At the end of the day, I think it's highly important to expand your horizon, to be able to have all these choices of what you want to do, what you don't. And what just made the most sense to me, even when I was scrubbing toilets in the restaurant, I had a smile on my face. And my father, he would say, why do you have a smile on your face cleaning these damn toilets? And I'm like, because Dad, Father, I see the bigger picture. I know where I'm going. I see it.
And it's definitely goodbye to the toilets.
Yes, absolutely. Well, everything is energy. So you could be cleaning and have a dirty look on your face. All hell could break loose, or you can clean a table with love. You can clean a table with a smile on your face.
It's funny you should say that, because I think whatever I call that kind of hard work, something you've got to do.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not exactly doing it at the beginning, but it's the accomplishment.
Yes.
It's done.
Yes.
It's like the other day I was doing my bathroom and I cleaned all the windows and all the mirrors and all the stuff, and I didn't want to do it. Believe me, I didn't want to do it, but I thought better do it. And afterwards I felt so good though. Now, does this mat make you feel the same way?
Absolutely, and it's being
I'm
of service.
About this
you
energy.
have to be of service. When you are of service to your home, to your business, to your community, to your family, to your friends, to your animals, there's a different energy that truly comes out of that. It's more of love than fear. And
I couldn't agree with you more. I remember I was having a conversation with some friends of mine, and I said, I serve my husband. And they looked at me horrified. They said, what do you mean you serve him? Well, I said, well, I serve him. He's my husband. But I meant it in an enjoyable way and in a nice way. And they completely took it in another way of, why would you be a servant to your husband? I said, well, why wouldn't you be anyway?
It's an act of love.
Well, it is. I think like I serve God.
Yes.
I'm down here to serve him. Nothing I do is for me, it's for him. because he tells me what to do. Sometimes I don't listen. That's where I go wrong.
Yes.
We all go wrong.
We all have that little voice inside of our heads, and when we don't listen, there are repercussions that we have to,
We have to
face up to.
face up to, and I'm learning. I mean, as I get older, I'm learning more and more about the mistakes I make. But it's okay because they're not mistakes.
And aren't they the best?
They're learning, because it's funny how you always have you always put up against the mistakes you do, not the good things you do. Then why can't you tell me how great that was or something instead of saying how bad?
Right? Yes, looking at the glass half full rather than half empty will really help your mentality, your mental health, anything mentally.
So from Portugal,
Yes.
would you go there to live?
Absolutely. Right now, I have a lot of things to do. I could imagine myself living in Portugal when the foundation, the roots have been firmly planted. Right now, I'm planting the roots
You're
of
planting
Manly.
your roots.
Yes, we are expanding. We are here in Las Vegas.
Now you're saying we. Who's the we?
Well, one thing my sister taught me, instead of saying I, me, instead
We.
of I, we. It just sounds more appealing when we can involve everybody rather than just
Whether
myself.
they're involved or not.
Absolutely. Everybody's involved. Absolutely.
Yes. Well, the whole world, my greatest saying is nothing happens without you. That's my greatest saying, because
Yes.
nothing happens in my life without somebody else. I can't,
very true.
I can't open the door, because if somebody didn't make that door, I wouldn't have a door to open.
Absolutely.
So somebody made it. So
It's a
that's-
communal effort.
It is. I think the whole world is. I hope we're going to get back into that. I hope so. With these mats.
Yes.
With these mats could be a big help to getting the world back together again, and maybe we could all be. Do you have any big community mats, or are they just single mats?
Yes, we have.
Oh, we do.
We have enough. Let's just say that. I invested a lot into it, and we also have beautiful designs as well. And it goes in alphabetical order. I did not know that. I'm a Virgo, so it just kind of makes sense that I made everything alphabetical. So it goes all natural, which is the plain yoga mat. There's no design, just the...
It's totally plain.
Yeah, just
like,
man line.
Looks like a cork.
Absolutely.
So
Then for
no
B, you
mistakes.
have Botanica, which is scientifically illustrated. There are flowers, trees, flowers from Portugal, my favorite plants, all incorporated on this mat.
Cool this is.
You'll never see another one like it.
Well,
that
I've
one is
never heard of this before. Anyway, I've heard of people who do have mats when they do yoga and different things, and they put the
Yes.
mat down, but it's a regular plastic mat. You
Yes.
know, it's not whatever.
Absolutely.
But this is. And did you do all the designs yourself?
So I drew up the designs, and my scientific illustrator perfected them. He has
okay.
years and years and years of talent. Man Life is, we are a whole team. It's not just a one-man
So
band.
what else do you do with all this sort of energy stuff? Because you look like you're a little bit more involved than just the mats.
Yes.
What else do you do?
Yes, so like you said, I actually do model. I love to model. It's one of my most favorite
I
things.
can see why.
Thank you. And what you see in me is simply a reflection of you.
Thank you very, very much.
Yes, of course.
Just last 50 years, I look very pretty and very young. This is not me. This is me here, right? This is my reflection. I love how she makes things. You make everything so beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, you make it so beautiful and harmonizing, and it's like, there's such word.
It's alchemy. It's when you turn your pain and suffering into unconditional love and light.
And do you study that?
Self-study. Well,
Self-study, for you.
I'm going to college right now, actually. I'm going to University of Las Vegas.
Oh, what are you studying?
Psychology.
Oh, psychology.
Yes.
So she will psych everybody out.
Well, business is psychology, so I have to understand it. And I was doing a lot
Well,
of...
your business is somebody else, because you're dealing with somebody else, and you've got to
Absolutely.
find out who they are, what they are.
Absolutely.
Do you feel that sometimes when you do that, do you feel that maybe you psychologically look at them and they're really not that? They're something completely different, and you sort of psych them out differently than what they really are?
Well, I see everybody for what they are. I see
Okay.
beyond the skin. I see their soul.
Oh, okay.
So it's not really my
The
judge.
love.
Yeah, it's not really my judgment to make on others, because judging can really do you dirty. So what I try to
judging.
see is I just
Listen
try
to this woman. Listen to what she's saying.
I really do. I try to see the good in everybody. Now, everybody has their faults. We are not perfect. We are only human.
Well, talk for yourself.
Yes, absolutely. But with people, I truly do try to see the best in
I
them.
couldn't, I do. You know, it's funny because I trust everybody until they do something.
Yes.
I mean, they might be
Yes.
very, very untrustworthy to other people, but maybe not to me. So
Sure.
I'm not going to judge them on what somebody else says or thinks.
Absolutely.
I'm going to judge them on what I think
Sure.
and what I see. So where can anybody buy these mats?
Yes. So the mats, they're retailing on shopmamlife.com. We're also doing pop-ups everywhere. We're doing pop-ups.
What's a pop-up?
A pop-up is essentially you just pop up somewhere and then you're there for about, 3, 5, 6 hours and then you pop back to your house. So you just set up and then it's normally a community, so it's vending. I would be considered a vendor.
All right, well, I've got to get my producer to check into these pop-ups.
Oh, they have so many it's all over the
I
world.
love pop-ups. They're
Yeah.
saying boom, 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 boom.
You
They
know,
come in, they come
the
out.
farmers markets.
Yes.
It's doing that. We are trying to expand as much as possible. Teams are starting being correlated. So I have
Okay.
people that are going to start working, doing pop-ups in San Diego while I won't be present. So I'll be
Really?
able to be here working on expanding, or I'll be in Vegas. So
You could be anywhere.
yes, absolutely.
You could be in Portugal.
Yes, that is the goal.
That is the goal.
That is the goal.
That is the goal.
Yes, that is the goal.
So, do you have a website?
Yes, shopmamlife.com. Here at Shop Mam Life, we have our whole entire collection. We have our story. You're able to just dive deep on the history of Mam Life. We wanted to make sure that the website gave you a feeling where you felt something that activated your soul. We have a beautiful video that my videographer put together. We're here.
With all your ideas and
Oh,
your
yes.
things of comfort and
Oh, yes.
feeling and softening yourself.
Absolutely, yes.
Is there a time in your life when because my favorite thing I tell people to do is go to your bedroom, because that should be the most tranquil place, and just sit on your bed and just let everything out and just don't think of anything, don't do anything, just clear your mind. I know it's hard not to think of anything, but slowly you really do that.
Absolutely.
And it clears your mind, and I think then you're ready to face the world again, I think if you count like 2 or 3 before you start arguing with somebody, you won't have that argument.
So imagine that space, that space where your room is your sanctuary, it's your sacred space.
Yes.
Imagine where you can go anywhere and just roll out your mat and go into that space inside where you don't have to be anywhere, where it's just you and your thoughts.
How big are these mats?
So they're pretty big. A 6-foot man, he can lay down on it.
You can lay down on it.
Yes.
So 6 foot it goes up
Yep.
to 6,
They're
5,
5
whatever.
pounds.
And how much do they cost?
They sell and retail for $99.
So $100 you got your own
Yep.
mat.
But the most beautiful thing is here with Mam Life, not only are you able to purchase a beautiful mat, but one yoga mat equals one tree planted. So we plant trees throughout the entire world.
Yes.
And then on top of that, you also receive a complimentary cork pen.
A cork pen. Oh, I happen to have a cork pen. You just reminded me.
They're
I don't know
brilliant.
where I got that from.
They're
but
just brilliant,
And I thought,
yeah.
why would anybody make a cork pen? Well, now it means something different to me. So,
Because
yeah.
cork, you can sweat all you want and still have a grip. So sometimes when we write, our hands
Yes.
get a little bit sweaty. Your hand won't get sweaty, and if it does, you will have a grip with the cork.
Well, a lot of knowledge coming from a young lady. Absolutely, Masey is amazing, and we adore her. And she's bringing something into life that we all need. The tranquility of life, and to gain it out of just a simple mat. It might cost $100, but that $100 is definitely well worth spending for something that you can take with you, and you can. If you go on vacation, you can have it in your hotel room. You can do anything, take it anywhere you want, whatever you want.
There's people already doing that as well. They're
There you
taking
go.
pictures, posting it on Instagram. It's beautiful to see where people
This is
are.
me and my mat.
Yeah.
Okay, my producer's saying, okay, enough, Ninon, come on. Okay. Don't forget, I'm down here at Mariposa, Mexican restaurant. Cuisine, actually, is absolutely fabulous. It's very colorful and very light, absolutely gorgeous. And don't forget to go to Vegas Live with Ninon on YouTube, subscribe, join, and do all the above things. We are in several media places, social media, so don't forget to tune in any way you can. Thank you for watching. We'll be right back with our next guest. You take care.
Thank you.
Live streaming on social media is the best new way to interact and bond with your community. Do you love to encourage, motivate, and empower others, but you do not know how? Live streaming on social media is the best new way to interact and bond with your community. Do you love to encourage, motivate, and empower others, but you do not know how? Well, your opportunity starts with us on social media shows. We have 20 shows a week live streamed across the globe, with a reach of over 80,000 and growing. So you can host your own show, and you can be anything.
Welcome back to Vegas Live with Ninon. I'm down here at the Mariposa Mexican restaurant, cuisine actually. Absolutely fabulous down here. You've got to pay a visit here. It's all decked out in flowers and screens and everything and bright lights. And I have right next to me my. I've been dying to interview this guest for a long time, Jana Jackson. And she's running for representative of the House, whatever this all is, because I'm not really too much into politics, but I do know about politics. But politics at the moment is very dangerous, so I kind of I stay very, very, very open because obviously I have to anyway, but I always have done. Whoever the best is the best.
Yes.
Jana, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Isn't she beautiful?
Thank you.
And you're wearing my colours. She's wearing my colours.
Thank you. You're such a gracious lady that, yes, can put on your colours. That's an honor.
She's got my colours. She's got my seat. I love this. I absolutely love it. Now, you do not live in Vegas, do you?
No, I don't. I live in Phoenix, Arizona.
So you're running in Phoenix, Arizona?
I'm running in Arizona as Arizona State House.
Arizona State House.
Yes,
okay,
it's the House of Representatives.
Yes, the House of Representatives. Do they have a different house in every state?
In every state, you have a House of Representatives.
And they represent the state?
The state. They represent the state.
The whole state?
The whole
now,
state.
Do they represent everything in the state?
Yes.
I mean, from pipelines to water to air to anything, building permits, everything.
Right, everything. It's the place where your bills will start. So in the House of Representatives, we write the bills.
You write the bills.
Yes,
We're not talking about bills you have to pay. We're talking about bills that are passed.
Yes, yes. Bills that are going to be actually the proposals for what you need as a citizen in your state.
You're in the House of Representatives. Oh, you're going to be in the House. What are you now?
Right now, I'm a teacher. I teach physics and chemistry to ninth graders. And
oh, you've had a lovely time for the last 2 years, haven't you?
Earth Space Science to seniors. I've always wanted to be a teacher.
The last 2 years has been crazy, hasn't it?
It has been absolutely devastating. As a teacher, it's been devastating. There's so many things that are happening in education, and there's so many changes. And there's so many things that are coming out, like critical race theory. So many things.
Critical race theory. My philosophy is that when you're born, you don't choose the color you're born. You just get born, and then you deal with it.
Yes.
Whatever you want to deal with it and how you want to deal with it, right?
Yes, yes. It's just a way in which people actually try to slide in, just a distraction. And we have so many distractions right now.
Well, I got loads of them, but it has nothing to do with color.
It has nothing to do with color.
No.
And the critical race theory coming into the classroom is it's something that shouldn't be there.
I was
it's a
say,
huge
how are the
danger.
How are the children handling all this? Because they don't know. They're
The
just
children, the
they
children
play
love
together.
each other. I mean, they don't see it, but what they did was they actually sort of put it within pieces of the curriculum. There are 4 parts to curriculum.
Okay.
Most people only recognize one, which is the part in which you have your textbooks.
Yes.
But that's the way that it was actually put within the educational system.
Okay.
And now when parents began to look at what was happening in the classroom online, that's when they realized there's something wrong.
Something wrong here.
There's something wrong going on here.
So maybe this COVID-19 with all these what's going on, maybe this could be a good thing because I'm always looking at the good side of something, not the bad side of it.
Yes.
So this could be a wake-up call for parents. Hey, parents, because they send their children off.
Yes.
They go off 8, 9, whatever time in the morning, and they come back 3, 4, 5, whatever time at night, and the parents don't really get involved that much, do they?
Well, they don't get involved as far as knowing what's in the classroom.
Yeah.
So they want to support their kids, but they have this faith, like in the 1960s and 70s. my mom would say, if I did something wrong, here's some money, tell your teacher to call me. Don't even let her use her quarter, but have her call me, so then that way I can take care of whatever you're doing wrong or right at home. Yes, I'll take care of it at home. Well, what happened is that the parents are just a different generation, and they just trust. You know, you've always trusted your teachers.
Well, you always trust as much as you possibly can in your life. You try to trust people and everything.
And so when they saw things happening in the classroom, they said something is wrong. But the truth is, parents really knew something was actually wrong. I have children.
You do?
Yes, I do. 4 are adopted. They're all races. So I actually adopted all different races.
So no one can say anything about you. I love it.
They're Caucasian with platinum blonde hair and sky blue eyes. I have Hispanic and Caucasian. I have Cuban and African, and I have an African American African. So when you look at the colors,
African.
Yes, and then
what about your own children?
My ex-husband was French Creole. So by me having children that are half French Creole from the original French Creole family in Louisiana, that line, that our children range from the whitest of white to the darkest of dark. And it's absolutely incredible. So when parents started seeing what was happening in the classrooms, they became aware.
Which is good.
Yeah, it's very good. But then they started thinking, well, my son or daughter was totally Republican, and when they got to college, they changed. Well, they didn't realize that they had all of these years for other teachers to give them a different framework of looking at who they actually are. Because Republicans, we believe in God, family, and country.
So it is true that the Democrats, and I'm not on any side, that they teach the Democrats a way of life in schools.
No, it's not so much the Democrats teaching a way in school. In education, teachers go to college and you learn about certain men, like Piaget, Maslow, Skinner, and all of these men are basically socialist, and they formed our education system. So if you, like my dad would say, if whatever you put in is what you're going to get out. And so it's a common sense. So they put so much into our structure that as time went on, it became heavily involved into socialism. Now, it wasn't that it was Republican or Democrat. No, because most parents believe in God, family, and country.
Yes. And that's what school is.
That's what school is.
School is nothing to do with
all children.
It's all children.
Yes, it's all children.
Which means all colors, all religions, all everything.
Everything, because
that's what a school is.
That's what a teacher teaches.
Yes.
We teach them because they're children, and they become part of us.
I was going to say, but they're our next leaders anyway. They're going to lead our country, whichever way you want. It might be this one, it might be that one, but there's going to be in your class or in your school, you're going to have leaders for America.
And some people forget now, those that are in 3rd grade right now, they'll be voting in 10 years. 10 years is not a long time. So we really and truly have to make sure that what we're putting within the educational system is as far as laws. Like right now in Arizona, they have a bill that they're getting ready to write, and this bill is on transparency. Well, 10 years ago or 5 years ago, you wouldn't even think of writing anything about transparency in the classroom.
No.
So one reason why I'm running is because I want to make sure that the children are protected through bills. Not protected, and also not just the bills. That's right, and also looking at the appropriation of the funding. Right now in our state house and state house all over the United States, they're looking at how are they going to appropriate the funds. So a good example.
Arizona's been given funds, and now they can put those funds into
the school system.
Into school system, so they choose.
Right, they choose, but the one area that I'm concentrating on is when it's appropriated, it's the classroom. See, you can have lots of money going to build scoreboards and doing maintenance and doing teacher workshops.
That has nothing to do with education.
But you want money appropriated to go into the classrooms. To teach.
To teach our children. They are our children. They're not your children or my children. These are our children.
That's right.
The United States is our children.
Exactly.
So your main thing is education then?
Education.
And have you seen, how long have you been educating?
I've been an educator for 28 years.
Oh, so in 28 years, you've probably seen a big difference.
Oh, I've taught. I taught teachers in Italy as to how to teach cultural diversity in their classrooms. I taught in Puerto Rico for NASA. I worked as an aerospace education specialist for NASA, and I taught every 6th grade teacher on the island in Puerto Rico cultural diversity, because sometimes people think cultural diversity is like one color black, one color white, but it's not.
No.
In these countries, you have people from all over the world coming into their country.
What, for a vacation or to live or
That's-
trusted out? It doesn't matter. We all
Doesn't
travel.
make any difference.
We all travel.
That's right. And these children,
Well, we did all travel.
so they all come in. In America, we're very, very,
Yes.
America is a country in which everyone comes in. And you may not, sometimes when you think about it, who came through the Statue of Liberty? And when you came through the Statue of Liberty, you have people that were Polish, and they lived with people that were Polish.
Wasn't it the French?
Italians
Didn't it the
lived
French?
with exactly.
The French donated and gave the Statue of Liberty to America.
French came from France, and they stayed within their groups.
Yeah.
Spanish came.
Yes.
Africans came.
Italians came.
Everyone came, and that made
British.
us one. British came. So therefore, we're this melting pot.
Yes.
We are one people, and what happened over the time period? Our children don't see that. Our children don't see those cultures that came in. They see each other and they love each other,
Yes.
and that's why.
Well,
if you
because they're children, they don't know yet, and they're learning. So this is why
Yes.
the school system has got to teach
Yes.
what is going on
Yes.
on either side.
That's
on,
right.
I call it an open door. Keep
Yes.
the door open
Yes.
so they can learn everything, whichever side, whichever color, whichever religion. Doesn't really make any. We're all born the same.
Yes.
We're conceived and born the same.
Yes.
And this is something I don't know, which is possible. It might be something that I don't know. But so, so we should help. And I always say that up until children are 18, it's our responsibility, not only as a mother and father,
Yes.
but as people, to see a child and smile at the child.
Yes. Bring them.
Bring
When
them-
I teach, I teach. The reason why I love teaching 9th grade is because in 9th grade I can be both a mother and a teacher. You have so many children whose parents aren't at home. And so there's certain graces that you want to teach them, you want to give to them.
Right.
And once they trust you, you'll be able to give to them. Then you can increase the reading and the math because it's a trust factor.
And they know they can come to you at any time and ask any embarrassing or great question, and they know
Right.
that you're going to give the best to your ability to that answer.
That's
for
right.
them to understand, because you talk to children totally different to one-on-one with an adult.
That's
totally
right.
different. It's-
So I wanted to be able to implement different kinds of legislation that will provide for our kids in the classroom, as well as looking at our children when they go for their jobs. When you look at, they're right now defunding police officers. I don't want to defund a police officer. I want my kids in my classroom to become police officers and have a wage that they'll be able to support their families.
So you don't care for this defunding?
Oh, no.
I don't
My
quite
father was a
understand
homicide
it.
detective for 33 years. I am
Oh,
the
wow,
daughter of a
yes.
police officer, and my son is a police officer.
Oh, so you're right in the, oh my goodness, you're in the midst of it all.
all in all of it. We want to prepare our kids to be the engineers and the doctors and the lawyers, but we also want them to be the pipe fitters. We
Yes.
want them to own the businesses for the auto,
Have their
becoming
own business, do their
for
own
the
thing.
entrepreneurs.
You know,
But we can't do that if we don't start now. We're at a crucial point now. And this point is saying we have
Why
to
do
be
you
able
think-
to design
Why
these
do you
bills
think
for them.
we've come to this crucial point? It's taken all these years, because I know how old I am, so I know how many years it's taken to get to this point of we don't seem to know what to do with our children. It seems, you've got this big thing about this woman, I don't know who she is, but children must wear masks, they must wear masks. So you've got all these kids wearing masks, and you've got this, what message does that give to the kids? Well, she can, you know how kids are.
Yes. Well, I
What's
think
gone wrong?
I
What
think-
have we don't like children anymore?
I think what happened is I remember my mom and dad. They were very, very active in me having rights. And in my generation, because my parents made sure that I had these rights, I had a right to go to college, and
Yes.
I have a right to do all of these
You
things.
have a right to do anything you want.
My generation truly forgot.
Yeah.
Because my children, the children that I have, my adult children now, they're having children. And those grandbabies didn't have a reason like I had a reason.
You had a
It was
reason.
my generation that stopped.
So that's what we've missed out.
I really think that's what missed
We're
out.
missing out on giving our children, or even preparing ourselves to have children. Why are we having children if we don't know what to do with them? When the purpose of, is it just getting married, having children, and that's part of me,
Yes.
and that's it? It's
Yes.
not. I don't think it's that at all.
God, family, and country. Because
Yes.
my mother's generation didn't forget. It was
No.
my generation that forgot.
Yeah.
I mean, McDonald's came around, Wendy's, I mean,
All this
Church's
fast
Chickens,
food, yeah.
all of these fast foods. I'm getting out of work. My mother never worked. My mother had 3 meals on the table, right? So I'm getting my kids out of daycare. Okay, now we're not reading the story at night. We're going home. We're going to sit there looking at TV.
So
now
now
they're looking and using the laptops. You know.
So what is the purpose?
So we have to get back to our basics.
I think I think the laptops are fine. I think computers are fine. I think the phones are fine. I think sometimes it's too young to give a phone. But I think we need to at least spend an hour or 2 hours with our kids. Just,
Do you remember the times when you sat down at a dinner table and everyone sat at the table and you talked about what did you learn today in school?
Well, I remember growing up. I never went to school.
Okay.
I never went to school. I was never taught. I didn't know anything. My mum and dad didn't teach us and whatever. They were very high. They have very intelligent people. And we had lunch, not dinner. And I can remember for 15 years anyway, well, probably less than that because I was a baby, that I sat at the lunch table and we all had as a family, my mum had 5 kids, her own,
Yes.
and we all sat at the table and we were told to be quiet though. We weren't allowed to talk too much unless we were asked a question.
Yes.
But I remember we always had this stability of a family.
Yes. Well, that's missing.
That's missing now.
And that was my
So that's
generation.
what you're running on.
Yes, that family has to come back now.
The family has to come back.
Right.
All right,
and,
Jana.
and we have to be able to raise our children to understand that this country is their country. And what I do is benefiting them.
Yes.
And so if we don't do that, if we don't remember that this country's our country.
So we got to get you, Jana
Yes.
Jackson, we got to
Yes.
get you into the House of Representatives
Yes.
so that you can write these whatever you want to write, and then they go actually to the White House, and then they're signed by.
Well, they'll go from they'll go from the House to the Senate,
To the Senate,
the
yeah,
state
yeah,
Senate,
House and
and
the
then
Senate.
from the state Senate, then it can go to the U.S. Senate.
Then the U.S. Senate.
And then they can stand and they can say, yes, this is what we want to do.
this.
We want to make sure that this is happening in our country.
Okay.
Whereas the U.S., the state Senate is going to make sure this is what we want to happen in our state.
in our state.
And then my job would be to make sure that the bills are the type of bills that represent the people in my state.
Listen to Jana. Listen to her. Your kids, whether they're grandkids or whether they're other people's children, doesn't make any difference. They're all
It's our,
kids.
it's our state, it's our country.
It's our country,
It's our
and this is
country.
your state. How can
Yes.
anybody get in touch with it? How can they vote for you?
Well, the only people who can vote for me are those that are in my legislative district, but everyone can help me in funding.
Oh, funding,
Yes, the funding.
How can
I'm a teacher,
Yeah.
and because I'm a teacher, I don't have the same network as a lot of people that have certain last names or certain parents that have already been into office.
Well, Jana Jackson.
I have the American citizens, and I'm asking them if they sent just $5 to Jana Jackson, AZ,
Easy. That's Arizona.
Arizona, AZ.com.
Okay.
Then they would be able to get go right online, and the money would be automatically put within for the Secretary of State. I don't get a penny.
No.
No,
So
I don't
it's
get a
Jana
penny.
Jackson.
AZ.org. Yeah, .org.
.org.
Yeah,
All this for
.org.
organization. That's for
Yes.
the charity thing.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that's in AZ,
Yes.
Arizona. So don't forget, you've got to start helping her. She's all for children. Oh, you've got so many
Yes.
of them.
Oh, if-
How many grandchildren? Any grandchildren?
I have
yet?
2 grandchildren,
Two,
but
but-
they're older.
Yeah.
I have 7 children. This is the first time they all have boyfriends or girlfriends. I'm thinking I could have 7 weddings and 7 grandbabies at the
All at
same
one
time.
time.
I'm just so excited. I want to have some grandbabies. But I really want to. I'm telling my kids, I really want some grandbabies. I really want you to get married and give me these grandbabies. But
Oh, adorable.
it would
Oh,
be wonderful.
absolutely amazing. And
But they
thank
can
you.
send me anything. They can send
Anything.
from $1
From
to
$1
$5,000.
to $5,000.
But if they
whatever.
just sent $5, oh gosh,
That's to
that would
Arizona.
be just Yes,
Okay,
Jana Jackson, JanaJacksonAZ.org.
Wonderful, absolutely, they
It'll
will.
be
Thank you for
wonderful.
watching Vegas Live with Ninon. Amazing
Thank
guest,
you.
and as you know, I'm not into politics or religion, all that stuff, but I like to actually, have them on my show just to let everybody know there is a part of another world out there, apart from all the entertainers, though I love my entertainers, but there's also another part of the world out there, so stay there, stand in, and we'll be right back with another guest. Take care.
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
thank you.
It's
That
been an honor.
was fabulous.
Live streaming on social media is the best new way to interact and bond with your community. Do you love to encourage, motivate, and empower others, but you do not know how? Well, your opportunity starts with us on social media shows. We have 20 shows a week live streamed across the globe, with a reach of over 80,000 and growing. So you can host your own show, and you can be anything you want to be. So let's bring the community together, and let's bring the world to you. Join us now. Live streaming on social media is the best new way to interact and bond with your community. Do you love to encourage, motivate, and empower others, but you do not know how? Well, your opportunity starts with us on social media shows. We have 20 shows a week live streamed across the globe, with a reach of over 80,000 and growing. So you can host your own show, and you can be anything.
Welcome back to Vegas Live with Ninon. I'm Ninon. Ninon de Rosa. How about that? Anyway, we're in for a fabulous interview, but then all the interviews are great. They're all very, very different, and I don't pre-interview, so I have Mckee with me. I don't know what she does. Well, one thing I do know what she does. She says she's a singer, and then she suddenly threw in there part-time, so
Yeah.
now I'm going to try to figure it all out. Great. So you're a singer in Las Vegas.
Yes.
That must be a challenge.
You know, it's, I would say it's not really. It's actually just a lot of fun.
You're having a lot of fun with it.
I'm having
Isn't
a
that
lot of
nice?
fun, yes.
Isn't that wonderful? So it's not kind of your full-time job.
Well,
Well, it
it's
is.
sort of becoming almost a full-time job because I'm working so much.
Oh,
I would
wonderful.
say, but I do other things as well. But I didn't intend on doing this full-time, but it just keeps
You're
getting bigger and bigger.
becoming popular.
Well, it's not just me; it's my band, and we do a few
Oh,
tribute
hang
shows.
on a
and-
second. You have your own band?
Yes, yeah, yeah.
So how many people in your band?
So the main band is 4 people.
Fabulous.
It's called High Roctane.
High
That's
Rock.
It's like octane but with an R, so High Roctane. And then that band also does 2 tribute shows where we and we
who do
do.
you tribute?
So one tribute show is called Heart Benatar, and that one does half Heart and half Pat Benatar. And then the other one is called Lady Legends of Rock, and we add
fabulous.
we add another girl. Her name's Cassie Stone, and then we add my friend Kelly on guitar, and then we tribute to some
Is it
extra
mostly all
artists.
women?
No, but there's 3 women and 3 men.
I love that because normally in your band you always see all men. You know, and I nice to
Not
see
in
the
mine.
I love it. I love it. Where are you originally from? You from Vegas or
I'm from outside of Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh? Oh,
Yeah.
wonderful. It's
Yeah.
nice and cold there now, isn't it?
Yeah, I haven't lived there for a very long time. I mean, I've been in Vegas for 17 years, I think.
Oh my goodness,
Yeah,
you've
I've
been
been
here
here
a
quite
long
a while,
time.
yeah.
And did you come here to actually go into the singing business, to be a singer, or?
You know, I actually bought a performing arts school here. So, and I was in Japan singing, and I decided that I was going to try to come here and work for Cirque du Soleil, and then also run a performing arts school at the same time, which is crazy. I didn't do
Did
both.
it work?
No, I ended up just running the performing arts school. I did that for about 6 years, and it's still there. It's in Henderson.
Is it still yours?
It's not still mine. No, I sold it in
Okay.
2012, but it still exists in Henderson. So yeah.
And what did you teach in that? What sort
So,
of teaching do you do?
I taught everything. So I have, although I am primarily a singer, but I taught dance and acting and vocals and anything. I even taught tumbling. When when you own the school, you have to teach everything.
Well, because you have all these different classes, the school going and
Yes,
to make money,
yes,
because it's there
yes,
to make money.
of
That's the
course.
whole purpose of the whole thing.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But now you're more into the singing.
Yes.
So where have you been and what are you doing?
So right now, High Rocktane has a residency at the Westgate.
Oh, you're at the West. Are you in
yeah.
that lounge when you walk in?
Yes, yes.
I know that. It's fabulous there.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
we're there every Thursday. Usually at 8 o'clock. Sometimes we start a little later, but typically at 8 o'clock. It's always on our website.
And 8 until when?
Until midnight.
8 and that's a long time.
Yeah.
That's a long
yeah,
haul. Wow.
8 until midnight. And
Cool.
we actually just, because we have so many people that follow us, we just won Best of Las Vegas award for Lounge Act. So,
I love it. I love it.
yeah.
Good for you.
And that's because so many of those people that come on Thursdays and follow the band, they vote
Yes.
for us, which
well,
is
Thursday's
cool.
a good day because Thursday is kind of starting up of the weekend.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
the weekends in Vegas are crazy, aren't they?
I'll tell you, it's a party at the Westgate every Thursday.
Really?
Yeah,
How
it's a party.
fabulous.
Yeah, so we play there, and then sometimes we play the Strat.
And then there's no fee to go to that because
No,
it's
it's free.
open. It's all free.
free,
So
yeah.
if you want to listen to music on a Thursday, that's where
Come
you
on
go.
down, that's where
Come
you
on
go.
down, 8
Yep.
o'clock, and everybody's there.
Yep. And then we also do the Strat, which is free. Sometimes we'll
Strat is a
perform there.
stratosphere.
Yeah, Strat.
Yeah, stratosphere.
We're supposed to call it the Strat now, but it really is a
Okay,
stratosphere.
the Strat, but all us older people out there. it's
Right,
the
like me, when we knew it as the stratosphere, right? And now they're trying to
They're
brand
trying to
it.
work out where's the Strat. What's
I
the
know,
Strat?
right? So yeah,
Branding.
right. So yeah, we're there sometimes. Sometimes we're at the M. You know,
Oh, you're
we'll-
at the end?
Yeah. Well,
In
actually,
that room?
yeah, we'll be at the M on March 19th.
Okay, I live 5 minutes from there.
Well, you gotta come.
yeah, I've got to come
It's
on
a
over.
party.
I gotta go. And what night will that be?
March 19th. It's a Saturday.
March 19th is a Saturday.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Fabulous.
Yeah, so those are all the things that High Rocktane does, and then we go to Laughlin too, and perform down there, and then the tribute. We just did the tribute in Sun City. I'm sorry, Sun City Summerlin, I believe
Yes.
it's called. It's the Starbright Theater.
Stop it. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
so
yes,
we were
yes,
just
yes.
there, and then
This is one busy lady here.
I
telling
told you it's a full-time job now. Anyway,
No,
yeah.
well, because Vegas is sort of it's got its ups and downs. It's had its ups and downs
It
for
has.
the last couple of years.
It
and
has,
it's been
yes.
rather stressful for all our entertainers
It
and all our
has.
people getting out there and staying things.
Yeah.
How did you survive?
I don't really know what happened. I guess I was just in the right place at the right time, and I had the right following, and it just started to grow. I actually work a lot more now than I ever did before the pandemic
Don't
started.
you find that people now, they seem to have had this couple of years of sort of not going out and slowing down,
Yes.
but now they're ready, they all want to go, and everybody,
Yes.
all people do is they call me, Ninon, where can we go tonight? Ninon, what can we do? And I'm thinking, what do you mean? Well, okay. And these performers are starting to come out, which is beautiful, because,
Yes.
Vegas is entertainment.
Yes.
It's the entertainment capital of the world, so,
Yes, and there really is always somewhere to go, and I definitely go out and support other, performers and live music, and I take other people out to see them, and
Yes.
because it's sort of a dying art in a way, and
Well, yeah, because if you can't go out of your house and you can't go into a building or whatever,
Right.
you can't perform.
right,
You can't. But I think also, because you've got 4 of you in your band, you're not a trio, it's 4 of you in your band, I think that makes a big difference because you become more like a band
we are definitely a band.
Yeah, more like a band. But sometimes they have these, you know, they have these electronical things, and then they just sing, and they've got these buttons they press.
Yeah,
I
no.
think they're fine, but I think people really, really want to see a band.
Well, and they want to have live interaction with humans.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, we like
yeah,
humans. We
yeah.
still like them. You know? We still like them quite a lot. As much as sometimes we don't get on with them all, but we don't have to get on with them all anyway. You know, we don't.
Yes.
We don't. So how can anybody reach you?
It's highrocktain.com, so that's Rocktain with an R, highrocktain.com, and we post all of our High Rocktain gigs, it's a tribute band, so we do all types of different music, from fun 80s stuff to current stuff from today. It's all really dance and rock and just stuff that really
Just
is
a happy time and a good time.
Yeah.
Is that-
And we also post our tributes there too on our Facebook page, as well as on our
So
website.
you're on Facebook, you're on Instagram,
Yeah.
you're on all the social media platforms.
Yeah, I would say Facebook, Instagram, Facebook mainly, Instagram, and then we also have our website and we post
Do you
there.
ever write your own songs, your own lyrics?
I don't,
Not yet?
No, it's not really my thing. I really enjoy doing the tribute
The
stuff.
tribute stuff, so
Yeah.
you do all the tribute and
Yeah.
everything, which is fun, people love that too.
Yeah.
What is the most popular song that people ask now for you to sing? Because, there's always the,
Well, like a current song?
whatever you ask for. I mean, I'm sure you get a lot of people ask you for, and you think, oh, they want that song again.
Okay, this is crazy, but it's always "I Will Always Love You" by Whitney Houston. That's what everyone always
Oh,
wants
that's
to
the
hear.
most, I agree. I was at a function the other day and somebody requested this.
Yeah.
And anybody seems to be able to sing it. I don't know how.
Yeah.
But you can sing it, right?
I do sing it. It's funny because I just happen to have the same range as Whitney Houston, and I'm a trained singer, so I
Yeah.
have a lot of experience, sort of understanding how to work my voice, and so I just started. I thought, if I sing this, people are going to laugh at me, but it turned out where they were like, no, this is really good, and now when they come to shows, they know that I always sing that song, and they always look forward to it.
And they
so.
look forward to that song.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's one of those kind of romantic tearjerkers.
It is.
You
It
know,
is for
because
sure.
you look, especially when you think of the movie and the whole thing and everything,
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So how can they reach you on your website again?
highrocktain.com.
Fabulous. You've been an amazing guest. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Absolutely wonderful. Don't forget to tune in to where she's at and what she's doing, and go to see her, especially at the Hilton, every Thursday night from 8 o'clock till midnight.
Yep,
Right?
every Thursday.
I got it right. And don't forget to go to YouTube and check out Vegas Live with Ninon. Absolutely amazing. And also you've got to come to this restaurant, Mariposa, Mexican cuisine. It's absolutely fabulous and it's amazing. And we shall be right back. And also don't forget social media shows. That's the name of my producer's company, and Maria Pureza, who is my producer. We'll be right back. Take care. back again. You know who I am. You know the show. Or do I have to say it again? Biggest Life with Ninon. How about that? I've known this gentleman for quite a long time. Robert Caceres, I think I got that right.
Yes.
And he's had quite a wild life, but he's a very, I've known you for some time. I've known him socially for some time, and he does have a wife, a beautiful wife. But
She's
you,
Japanese.
is she Japanese? I never knew. I knew she was Asian, but I didn't want to embarrass myself or give the wrong nationality to her. She's Japanese. Do you know Japanese women? They've got such fine features, and but they're fine people. They've got that incredible, gracious way of moving.
She does.
And she does.
She's a class act. Yes. Comes from great family.
She does.
Yep. Her father was a surgeon. He owned his own hospital in downtown Tokyo.
Oh, really?
And that's where she was raised, and she helped him when she grew up. She went to college and got a business degree, but was helping him in the hospital.
So she knows all about plastic surgery and everything?
Not plastic,
not plastic.
surgeon.
Just the surgeon, the real open up.
General doctor and surgeon.
See, I immediately gravitate to plastic surgery because I'm a woman.
Right away.
Yeah, you know what women are, right? But so she can actually, is she a doctor herself? No, she's not.
It's different over there. She worked in the hospital with him, but she didn't have a nursing degree or a doctor degree or anything. But they sort of allow it to help out.
Really? It's like an apprenticeship.
Exactly right.
Yeah, because that's what we have in England, apprenticeships.
Sort of like when I was young, my ex-wife way back in the 60s was a candy striper, they called it, in hospitals. And she was a high school girl, and they'd help out in the hospitals and help the nurses and doctors do the
That's what we
work.
call it in England. In England we have apprentices, and it could be for PR, it could be for hairdressing, it could be for anything. And you actually have 3 years of training. But you don't, and then you get then I think the person gives you the quality, but it's not like a big school degree or anything like that.
Right.
It's fabulous. So let's get to you, Robert.
Yes.
What have you, this guy's had quite a life, I'm telling you.
Yeah, do you have about 10 hours?
Yeah, I got as much time.
So,
Well, I don't know. My producer just put the finger up like this too. And that means I have 2 minutes.
Yeah. Luckily she doesn't put the other finger up.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, lucky.
the interest in my life started when I was 5 years old because my father was a diplomat. He worked for the Honduran consulate. He was consul general to Honduras for 35 years of his life.
In Honduras?
In Honduras when he started, but his first duty station was San Francisco, California, and he came there in 1938.
Oh my goodness.
Yep, and met my mother on Treasure Island, which is that flat island between the two Bay Bridges, the Oakland Bay Bridge and the San Francisco Bay Bridge.
Yes.
And it was the 1939 World's Exposition or World's Fair, one or the other.
Yeah.
And met my mother there in 39. And then they married. My dad was still supporting his grandmother down in Honduras, which Latins do that. They take care of their family. They always do.
They've always done that. That's definitely what they do.
Yeah. And my father was raised by his grandmother because his mother passed away young, and so did his father.
So did you move around in different places all the time?
Yep, and that's where it started. My traveling career as a little 5-year-old started when my father got transferred to Mexico City.
Okay.
So his second duty station as Honduran consulate, we moved to Mexico City and lived right near the center of the city.
So you know Mexico quite well.
And speak Spanish fluently
And you
too.
speak Spanish fluently.
Because my first school I went to was in in Mexico.
As of being a diplomat, don't you stay in a country for a certain amount of time? It could be 3 years, 4 years.
Exactly right.
Yes, yeah.
Just
now,
like the military.
How do I know all that? I had a show called Voices of Tomorrow, and I used to interview all the children that travel with their parents to all these different countries, you know, because the ambassadors or consulates or whatever they were, and they'd be stationed, but whenever they were stationed in Los Angeles, I would interview them. And that's what, so you must have had an incredible life.
Yes.
Did you like it? Because a lot of kids don't like it.
Yes and no.
Yes.
The problem was when my dad got transferred, like we went from San Francisco to Mexico City, and I first started school there. And I was terrified because here I am, an American in Mexico City, going to school with...
And you don't even know Spanish?
Didn't know it at the time. No, of course not. But you learn it quickly. When you're 5, you're like a sponge. And that's the time to teach children languages.
Yeah.
Is when
Is
the
when
younger
they're
the better.
5, yeah.
The younger the better.
Yeah.
So my brother and I picked it up fluently, and we also had like a nanny housekeeper that lived with us the whole time. She stayed with our family all the way to when I was in college.
Oh,
So
really? She would
like
travel around with you?
Her name was Angela, and she traveled with our family. and stayed with our family. So,
So,
it was
from
wonderful.
Mexico, where did you go?
New York City.
Oh,